brother. I brought the syrup for the waffles today.
Well,
Oh man,
how
how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. A little sick, but it's cool.
All right,
So-
man. I'll know you.
I appreciate it, bro. Yeah. What's the topic?
What is the Injil? What's the gospel?
All right, bro. I'm gonna ask you that then. What's the Injil?
That's
it the
my
New Testament?
question. That's our question to the Muslims, actually. Since you guys say we don't have it, we're then asking you, okay, what is it then?
What we do know is that it came, but it got corrupted. I mean, that's what everyone says. And then you're gonna tell me that there are surahs, there are chapters that say otherwise. But then
I'm not
So
going to say that at all. That's not what I'm going to say. All I'm going to ask you is,
Yep.
what is the Injil? What is the gospel? You telling me that it got corrupted isn't telling me what it is, man.
No.
Well, it's obviously the common answer that we don't know exactly what it was. Just like we don't know exactly what the Torah was. Just like we don't know what Abraham was preaching to the people exactly. We know the stories of Abraham. We know the stories of Moses. We know the stories of all the prophets. We also know that there was prophets that were sent to every other nation. You know, like every other nation. I mean, like every single nation was sent a prophet, because we don't just believe that was just the Middle East. So we don't know what these prophets were talking about or what kind of book they had either. What we do know is that the obvious message was always to go with Tawheed. God is one. God is alone. Worship God.
I know that's not good enough, though, because I'm supposed to judge by this gospel that you guys seem to say I don't have, but you also don't know what it is. And so if I don't judge by this gospel as a person of the gospel according to the Quran, I'm a wrongdoer and I'm in rebellion against the law. I don't want to be in rebellion. I want to be in right standing. What about you, Imam? You want to be in rebellion or right standing?
No, I want to be in right standing. I don't want to be in rebellion.
All right, good. So we want to be able to be in right standing and be good people of the gospel and judge by it, follow it, stand on it. So can you tell us, if you don't know what it is, then how can you tell us that we don't have it?
If you don't wanna disobey Allah, as you said, then you can listen to what Allah said in the Quran. You know, in chapter 5, verse 48. If you read that one, it will tell you.
548 isn't addressing me.
Nah, but it says that you should.
Oh, don't do this. Don't do this to yourself, Zane. The sheikh is going to cook you if this is where you're going to go. I'm warning you before you do it.
Listen, I don't have a problem. This is a whole like Sam Shimoni kind of thing where you just say like, I'm gonna bury you, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. Just
go ahead, Zane. Don't say I didn't warn you. Go ahead.
Well, I appreciate your warning, bro. I've heard it before. Thank you. But yeah, so the point of the matter is that you don't even have the gospel yourself. I mean, the books that you have, they claim
how do you know that?
Well, you look at common sense. Do you have any book? Do you have any book that relates back to the Jesus time?
Yeah, well, we do. We have the gospel of Jesus that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wrote down. How do you know that they are not the authors of the Injil, of the gospel?
The problem is we don't have any physical copy of that nowadays, and especially not in his
language.
language.
We have thousands of copies of them. What are you talking about?
I have one right over there.
First century.
Well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
You're saying 3rd century?
No,
first century. Let's say 5th. Let's say 6th. Let's even say 7th. All I need is a 7th century gospel. That's all I need.
No, not necessarily. I mean, if right now I was to write a gospel 1,400 years after Jesus or 1,500.
I didn't say 1,400 years after. I said all I need is a 7th century. You want to know why? All I need is a 7th century gospel.
All right. Why?
What century did Muhammad come in?
I mean, it was born in the 6th century, no?
7th century was when Muhammad came around.
Okay.
So when Muhammad comes around in the 7th century, he says that there is a gospel that the Christians have during his time.
Oh, you're misunderstanding.
Oh, I am?
Yes, you are. You know why?
All right, so what does he mean by there's a gospel that's with them, that they have and that they're reading? What does he mean by that?
Well, what we do know is this. Although the gospels have been corrupted, obviously they spread around. And the other thing that we do know is that a lot of the tribes, well, they were not only pagans
you said the first thing too fast, bro. You got to slow down for me.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
All right, so what does he mean by there's a gospel that's with the Jews and Christians that they're reading?
Well, there was some sort of gospel, just like we have some sort of gospels now. I mean, we have the Bible, we have the Old Testament, we have the New Testament. But well, I'll tell you this, is that there wasn't only pagans and idolaters at the time of Muhammad, peace be upon him, of course. Because the idea wasn't that they were all, I mean, if you look at the history,
bro,
the
what does
tribes
that got to
actually
do with
converted.
what I just asked you, man?
You're asking me, who is he talking to? And
No, I didn't.
What is the gospel that they have? And
Okay,
I'm telling you, they had some
I'll
sort of
ask,
gospel.
bro, slow down.
Gospel,
I'm trying to help you help me, man. I'm trying to help you help me. Look,
Okay.
Hey, look, it's just we're just talking here.
Yeah,
Hey,
of course.
focus on what I asked. I didn't ask about any pagans. I didn't ask about nothing else or nobody else.
Yeah.
You said that I'm misunderstanding when Muhammad says that the Injil, the gospel, is with the Christians and that they're reading it, they're judging by it, it's with them.
Yeah.
So if I'm misunderstanding what with them means, tell me, what does with them mean? What does Muhammad mean when he says that the written gospel is with the Christians?
So we believe, just like the Quran says, that yes, there was a gospel that came with Jesus, and that the gospel got corrupted, and these Christians that Muhammad is talking to, or is talking about, as you say, Muhammad, I mean, it's the word of God, but sure. These Christians also had that corrupted gospel. So they had the gospel. We don't say that they didn't have a gospel. They had a gospel. Was it the gospel of Jesus Christ? No, it wasn't. Why? Because
it
wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Interesting. Okay.
Weird.
So let me ask you this:
right?
if it wasn't the gospel of Jesus, then what was this gospel, or whose gospel was this that they can find Muhammad written in?
Well, there are quite a lot of. I mean, of course, we can only assume because you don't know, and I don't know.
No, you don't know. I know. The reason why you keep falling into
this problem what these Arabs
you don't know. Look, hold on. You're falling into this problem because you don't know. I know. That's why it's not my problem. But when you deny what is obvious and historical, you're in this conundrum that you're in. So now you're saying that they had a gospel, but it wasn't the gospel of Jesus. So now you have to tell me whose gospel was it that they can find Muhammad written in? Because that's what the Quran says.
Well, we do have some sort of, you can say, prophecy if you want to consider Isaiah 42. And there's also
that's not the gospel.
Well, what's up? That's Old Testament,
not the gospel.
Is that part of the Old Testament, right?
That's the Old Testament, not the gospel. I'm asking about the gospel. Whose gospel was it? Since it wasn't Jesus's gospel, whose gospel was it that the Christians had that we can find Muhammad in his prophecies? Whose gospel was that?
That's a great question, bro. But obviously, we don't know. It's like you don't. The thing is, bro. Right now, just let me speak 1 second.
Okay, go ahead.
How we right now have 88 books here, 62 books there. You don't know exactly which Christians that were there at the time. You can say they were Catholics. You can say they were Protestants. You can say they were.
Aaron, say it real quick, Chris. But here's the crazy thing: is that Protestant, Catholics, Orthodox, Ethiopians, they all have the same gospel, don't they? Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, don't they? They have the same Testament. It's amazing. But go ahead, Chris. What was you about to ask him?
Yeah, so I was just simply going to ask him the book, the gospel that the Christians had at the time of Muhammad, was that the revelation by Allah?
I mean, of course not. If you want to consider all of it.
Awesome. So when we go to Surah 547, and Allah's commanding those people that have that in their hand to judge by what He revealed therein.
Okay, what does it say afterwards?
Allah's lying about that one?
What does it say afterwards?
Well, no, just answer him on this. What God is that not Allah's gospel?
No, what we believe, as I said.
But it says that they have a gospel that Allah revealed.
For sure, yeah, we do believe a gospel was revealed, and we believe that the gospel was corrupted.
I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. You're missing what we're saying. The verse says, people of the gospel, judge by what Allah has revealed in it. And if you don't judge by what Allah has revealed, you're a wrongdoer.
Yeah.
So the 7th century Christians that Muhammad's talking to have a gospel that the Quran says is Allah's revelation. But you're saying it's not Jesus's gospel. So who else got this revelation?
No, I'm not saying. Well, here's what I'm saying. Let me clarify. Okay. I'm saying that the gospel, there's only one gospel, and that's Jesus Christ's gospel. Of course, I mean, it came with Jesus. It's his gospel. That's Injil, right? But what I'm saying, however, is this: I'm saying it's not the gospel of Jesus. I'm just saying that they have corrupted it, just like the Quran tells us in later verses.
So you're saying that in the gospel that they have, that Allah says is His revelation, there's corruption in Allah's revelation.
They have. I'm sorry. They have corrupted it. They have corrupted it. That's
so they've corrupted Allah. So Allah's revelation has corruption in it.
I mean, just like how the Jews and the Pharisees tried to corrupt at the time, just even in your Bible. I mean, you have to also acknowledge that there are people that were always trying to corrupt.
I don't have to acknowledge anything.
Just for confirmation, Zane, are you saying that Allah's words were changed?
I'm saying that Allah's words were not changed. I'm saying that they were changed.
Oh, they were not. They were not changed.
You can't change. Like, okay, if I say my name is Zayn, and then you later say that no, his name is Hamza or whatever, right? Then in that case, you're just changing what I said, but I didn't change it. Like, that was not changed. That still is the same. So I'm trying to tell you is this: just like how, for example, Jesus and all the gospels that you claim, that came apparently are according to you guys. The Gospels of Jesus Christ, or the Gospel of Jesus Christ. Why do they have a lot of these contradictions, all these corruptions?
I'm still lost.
How do we know how?
I'm not hearing an answer to the question. I'm not hearing an answer to the question. No. Just to be clear, the gospel that the Christians have in the 7th century. At first, you said it wasn't the gospel of Jesus. Are you now retracting that and saying, "Well, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It is the gospel of Jesus"? Is that what you? Is it the gospel of Jesus?
No, I told you, I clarified literally earlier. If you go back, I clarified clearly that yes, the gospel that came with Jesus is the gospel of Jesus.
That's not what I asked.
However, those in people, the 7th century, the gospel, bro. That's what happened.
Dude, in the 7th century, do they have the gospel of Jesus?
The exact word for word, unchanged.
Do they have the gospel of Jesus? It's a yes or no.
Word for word, unchanged. Because, bro, if it's not,
I'm gonna give you one last chance. We got other guests here that want to come up. I'm gonna give you one last chance.
Okay.
Did the Christians in the 7th century have the gospel of Jesus? Yay or nay?
They had some parts of it.
They had some parts of the gospel of Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. They had some parts of the gospel of Jesus. Okay. I can work with this. All right. They had some parts of the gospel of Jesus. Fine. Yeah. Now, here's my question. So they had parts of the gospel of Jesus. They had it in written form, right?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. Sure.
You don't know. The Quran says that they had it written down.
I mean, sure, bro. We could say it's written down. We could say it was memorized. But okay, sure.
But no, the Quran says it was written. Do you affirm it? Or do you deny the Quran?
If the Quran says, then the Quran says. I'm not like, it's not like I have it by memory, but yeah, sure.
Well, I don't, dude. What do you know who you're talking to? I am the helpful sheikh.
You are the sheikh.
We got the imam here.
All right.
We teach Islam, as a charity. You know that, right?
Yeah, bro. All right.
Look, let me show you, bro, so that you don't have any doubt. All right.
Cool.
You're up here with the original Quran only Christian, Zane. Come on now.
Come on, man. Look, this is what the verse says. Those who follow the messenger, the prophet, who can neither read or write, whom they find written with them in the Torah and in the Injil. And then it goes on, so on and so forth. So the Torah and the gospel in Muhammad's time is written, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Nice. I'm glad you was able to answer that honestly before, like the first guest was not able to do that. So now here's the question, my friend.
Go ahead.
This 7th century written document that is called the gospel.
Yeah.
Who wrote it?
The 7th century.
This gospel that they had, that they still had in the 7th century at the very least. Who wrote it? It could have been written before that, and preserved for a couple hundred years. Who knows? But who wrote it?
No one that we know. No one that specific. But
so you don't
know. Actually, okay, hold on. You say something in regards to like where is Muhammad. I mean, I told you some parts of the Old Testament.
I'm not worried about the prophecies.
And
right
I don't want to. Yeah, you know. But there was also something that in regards
I'm
to
only,
the
bro,
comforter.
Zane. It's not a trick question.
Go ahead.
Who
No,
wrote
I'm not saying it's a question. I'm just saying that I did remember something now, but something in regards to the comforter coming after Jesus.
That's fine. We can deal with all that stuff in another time.
All
The only thing I want to know is who wrote it.
Bro, the thing is, like, we don't know. That's the thing. We don't know who wrote it.
All right, so let me ask you
the
this. I
gospel
got you.
came and it was corrupted. That's
I
all
got
we
you.
know.
So you don't know who wrote it. Here's my next question, okay? Because you brought up the comforter. Do you believe that Muhammad is the comforter?
From what I've seen or I've heard about it, yeah, it sounds like it fits the description.
Okay, so you believe that the comforter passages are revelation from Allah?
I'm just saying it could be.
You have to say yes.
No, I don't have to say yes. I'm just saying I was
Zane,
made aware of something.
Come on, Zane. You got to think about this logically.
Go ahead.
If it's a prophecy about your prophet, could it be revealed by anyone other than God?
No, that's not the problem here. The problem here is that I haven't read the prophecy fully myself.
Then why bring it up?
No, because I've heard about it and I wanted to see if you have anything to object to it.
Wait, why would I object to something that you don't affirm? Do you affirm that that's a Muhammad or not?
That's what people say.
I don't care what people say. I'm talking to Zane. I care about Zane.
on the day of judgment, Zane, you're not going to worry about what other people say. You're going to worry about what you say, right?
Yeah, bro. I mean, when Jesus comes back, according to Revelation, he's gonna do something bad to me. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, Jesus is coming back. I guess Muhammad's not the last prophet. So,
bro, what is the Messiah? You know it's coming back. Yeah.
So do you affirm that the Comforter is Muhammad?
Okay, for the sake of argument, yes.
Okay, so then, if you believe that Muhammad is the Comforter mentioned in those passages, then you believe that those passages are revealed by Allah, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it was said by Jesus, yeah, sure.
Good. Do you know who wrote those passages?
You're gonna say them, the four?
I'm not gonna say them.
The four.
Only one gospel.
His pronouns are he, him, not them.
Yeah. I see what you did there.
So do you?
I see what you mean in that regard. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You could say it's them, but the problem is this: that we know.
It's not them though.
But we do know that we don't even know who wrote the Gospels. Like you guys don't even know who wrote the Gospels.
Hold on, though. You're appealing to a source.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with
it.
I'm not retracting. I'm just saying we don't know who wrote it.
Okay, let's go with that. Let's go with that. It's written by them. They. It's written by them. They. Okay.
It's written by X.
It's written by X. Okay. So the revelation of Allah, right? The revelation of Allah is in the gospel that the Christians possess even today. Is that correct?
Yeah, sure.
So then that would mean
some added, some added by the name of Paul.
But that would mean that the New Testament is the Injil, right? Or at least part.
Not all of
the
it,
Injil.
bro. I mean,
I wouldn't say
the Quran talks about Paul when he talks about Jesus and the Injil of Jesus, right?
Okay, I'm just sticking with the gospel. Exactly. The gospel in the New Testament, the gospel that we have in the New Testament, would be the Injil. Is that right?
The gospel that we have, not all of it, bro, because at the end of the day, it got mixed up. Like
some of it is the Injil and some of it's not the Injil.
Yes, you can say that.
Okay. So here we are, guys. We are at the point where some of the Injil is the New Testament, while other parts are not the Injil. It's added in and corrupted. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we could say that because a lot of it aligns with the Quran. So I mean, the things that I'm referring to. But go ahead.
Cool. So we at least we got somewhere. We know where we can find pieces of this Injil. We can find it in the Bible that we have today.
For sure, 100%. And for example, prostrating in prayer, you should do that.
And John,
like
just a second, Zane. And John wrote the true words of Jesus, not all of them in there, but there are true words that Allah revealed in the Gospel of John. Would you say the same thing with the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, and Luke as well, Zane, or just the Gospel of John?
The thing is, I'm not a Bible expert, so I don't know exactly which one, but I do know that, first of all, I'm not going to refer to one of them right now because I'm not that specific. I know I didn't study the Bible.
When you brought up the Comforter, you were referring specifically to what John wrote.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So as I said, I'm not aware of exactly which passage. I just know that it exists.
John 14, 15, and 16 will help you.
Okay, sure. But besides that, we're gonna get back to this. I will let you guys speak about it, of course. But the whole idea of the one gospel being the entire gospel is not true either. You guys can agree with that. You can't have just the Gospel of John and be like, that's the gospel.
Why not?
That's all we need.
Says who?
Can you say that?
Yeah, I can. If all I had was Matthew's writing, if all I had was John's writing, I can say I have the gospel.
Just one. Nothing else.
All I need is one of them.
Bro, you know you're saying something that's very big right now because there are a lot of things I'm missing.
No, I'm not saying anything that none Christian disagrees with.
It changes. I agree 100. It changes the narrative because, for example,
I agree 100% with what logic is saying. 100%.
Okay, but it changes the narrative of what Jesus said. For example, in one gospel it says, "Why have you forsaken me?"
Wait, how do you know what Jesus said?
No, I'm saying what the gospels say. The narratives changes.
How do you know what Jesus said?
No. I'm adding to your argument, bro. Listen to me, please. Careful.
This isn't my argument.
Again, everything you're telling me that you can have one gospel.
Dane, everything you say, you're gonna have to substantiate, man. How do you know what Jesus says?
You misunderstood me, bro. Listen, God logic, please. Here's what you said. You said that you would only need one gospel out of the four to have it, correct? Like to know exactly what happened.
I have the gospel. I can say that I have the gospel if I only have one of the writings of the authors. Yep. Okay,
so for example, in one gospel it says, that Jesus prostrated in prayer and that he said, "Why have you forsaken me?" or "Please take this cup from me."
On the cross?
Yeah, for example, on the cross, or when we
which are you talking about? Are you talking about when he prostrated, or are you talking about the cross?
Okay, I know I'm aware of that there are differences between the cross. So we'll talk about the cross one. The cross one has
what author says that he didn't say what he said on the cross?
So he says in one gospel, I forgot which one it is. As I said, I'm not an expert. What I want to say is this. It says that in one gospel, "Why have you forsaken me?" That's one gospel on the side. And the other gospel, it says, "Now it's finished," or "Now it's complete." So if you have one of them, then you don't know that Jesus said, "Why have you forsaken me?"
Wait,
you don't know that Jesus said this is.
Hold on a second. Is one focusing on one detail an omission of the other detail?
Well, I'm saying that it's very important to know exactly what happened. So for you to get an idea of what.
Hold on a second. Me knowing that Jesus was on the cross and got crucified, was buried and rose again on the third day, which is in all the gospel accounts. That's what I need.
But you know what's not in all the gospel accounts? The rising of the dead.
So
the rising of the dead is very important, bro.
I'm just lost here. Do all the gospel writers record Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection?
Yeah, but they change the narrative.
So, well, they don't. The narrative is that Jesus dies. He's crucified under Pontius Pilate, dies, and rises again on the third day. That's the narrative.
And then in one, we can talk about the base narrative, but how it happened.
Hold on, Zane. Relax.
Yeah, go ahead.
What he specifically says on the cross, one author can focus on one thing that he said on the cross, or a couple, while the other one focuses on another. It doesn't change the narrative at all. So what we have in the Injil is that Jesus died by crucifixion and was buried and rose again bodily on the third day. That's what the Injil, the gospel, says.
Okay. Yeah, we dug a bit deep now, so I don't want to lose track of the old comforter thing, but I do want to talk about one last point in regards to this.
Let's talk about the comforter.
Yeah, but let me just finish with the last point in regards to just one comment. It's not.
We love the comforter.
Yeah. I love the comforter too, bro.
You'd love the comforter more once you know who he is.
Yeah.
All right, well, okay. Let me just so commenting on the whole gospel message. The thing is, they are changing narratives. Now, sure, we can say the baseline is the same, and we can say that I can what's called it can suffice. That okay, yeah, you have one gospel This one talks about the death and resurrection. This one talks about the death and resurrection, so on, so on, so. The problem that we have is that not all of these gospels were included. Like when I'm talking about not the 4 gospels, I'm talking about like the gospel of Thomas, Peter, and so on and so forth.
Those aren't gospels.
They're not
Okay,
gospels.
and then we don't,
writings,
and then not only that, the problem, the biggest problem,
writings proven forgeries, bro.
Yeah, okay, but then the biggest problem is that we don't
what is
know who
what is
wrote
the
the
actual crux of the issue here? We
The
have the
crux of the
gospel.
issue. We don't know who wrote them, bro.
Hold on, Zayn. I have to stop you here, bro. We
Okay,
have
go ahead.
2,000 years of the church affirming Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. We
Mhm.
also have Muhammad affirming what the Christians had in his time, which guess what? Was Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So you have no reason to go against what we have, bro. You've already affirmed that we have the Injil. You already affirmed it.
Now, you know what's the problem with what you're saying is that you're saying that with 100% certainty that yes, it was them, but then you have the same Christians like yourself.
What do you have to go against what I'm saying?
What I'm saying is that the same Christians like yourself, like Sam and whatever, I think it was Sam, maybe it could be David Wood. David Wood is a wild guy, I ain't gonna lie still. But when it comes down to what they say is that, okay, well, you have the Quran copying from the infancy gospel of Thomas.
You sure do.
For example.
Yeah, I say it too.
You say, okay, so you guys say it too. So the problem is this. If you're claiming that, then that also can be included as a part of the gospels that they had.
Guess what? You're absolutely right. This is the problem. This is the problem with Islam. You're missing it. The problem is that it's confirming the gospel, the Injil that they have in their hands, and that's including it's these Gnostic gospels that it's affirming. It's affirming Gnostic false corruptions. That's the problem with the Quran, bro.
You know, logic, but the thing is, you don't even know who wrote the gospels, bro. You have no.
Neither do you.
But no. Sure. I will. Thing is, I will concede with that. But if I can concede, listen, I can concede, and my religion is intact. If you concede with that, you don't know who wrote the gospel.
Concede your religion is intact when you can't tell us what this gospel is or who wrote it.
Listen,
you literally affirm that we have it.
I'll tell you this much. Listen, when it comes down, as I said, I could believe that I don't know who the gospel writers are. I can believe that it was corrupted. I can believe that the day Jesus got risen up or sent up to heaven, to God.
Risen up, you're right, risen up.
Sure.
Yep, risen up.
He's sent up, bro. Come on, bro. All right, so when that gospel, I could believe that. I could believe that it's gone. I could believe that I don't know who wrote it. But if you believe the same, you believe the same. The thing is, you have even a more difficult stance than me. You don't believe the same, even though you have evidence that show otherwise. You don't know who the gospel's writers are. It says according to this person.
Thanks for coming, man. I appreciate you coming.
Oh, bro, come on.
I love how Muslims just keep making those assertions. Logic.